Good evening. A setback for prosecutors in the case against the mother who killed her little boy in an Albuquerque park.
The prosecution wanted the jury to have the option of finding Tiffany Toribio guilty but mentally ill. But the state Supreme Court put a stop to that. Here's News 13's Alex Tomlin.
Dick, Jessica, it's now one or the other, guilty of murder or not guilty by reason of insanity. The DA says those black and white options will be hard for jurors.
This was kind of a middle ground, but the bottom line is the individual was still held accountable.
District Attorney Carrie Brandenburg was pushing to give jurors an option to convict Tiffany Toribio while still sympathizing with her and finding her mentally ill.
The jury would be instructed on mental illness, what mental illness is, and even though someone can be mentally ill, they can still be held criminally liable.
But Brandenburg lost the fight. The jury will have to pick either Toribio is not guilty because she was insane at the time, or she's guilty of her son's murder.
So is it a blow to your case?
You know, it's difficult to say, is it a blow? We think that it's a blow in the jury being instructed and having guidelines. In terms of the bottom line, I'm not sure.
Toribio has admitted that she held her hand over her son Ty's mouth and smothered him and then buried him in this Albuquerque park 2.5 years ago. At the time of the killing, a verdict of guilty but mentally ill was still on the books. The legislature repealed it in 2010.
Usually the law that is in place at the time of the incident, in this case the murder, is the law that applies.
But today, the state's high court declined to hear the case. Back in September, Toribio's attorney explained why she thinks the guilty but mentally ill verdict is misleading.
Because it creates a situation where the jury thinks that the person is going to get mental health treatment, and they're not. They just go to prison as if they were found guilty.
Brandenburg says her team will press forward and use experts to explain to the jury the difference between mentally ill and insane. If Toribio is found not guilty by reason of insanity, the Department of Health could still have her committed to a mental hospital until she's been treated and recommended for release.